What's up, Geeky Saying Army? It's Kanan.
It's Jessie.
And we are the Geeky Saying couple, and today's video is a little different from what we usually do. So I came up with this idea during the weekend, I believe. And I noticed that over on Callan Hunter's channel, they've been doing these videos where, like, they did a trans perspective on May. And then they did an LGBT perspective on Bumbleby after Chapter 10. So I got to think, I was like, why don't we kind of do that with Blake? Because, Jess, you're bisexual, as we all know. And I was like, we should probably do like a little interview with Jess. Jess give off her thoughts about, Blake. Because Jess does see a lot of herself in Blake. And just a little non-biased, just free-form interview in a way. So I will not be talking a whole lot this video. Jess knows the questions because I wanted to go over them with her, make sure they were appropriate, that she was comfortable answering these. There's 10 in all. So yeah, we don't know what this is going to be called right off the bat. I kind of left the title in Jess's hands because this is more of her video. But as always, if you enjoy our content, please hit that subscribe button. We are finally at 400 subscribers. So now let's get to our 2021 goal of 500 very, very fast. I know, I was getting to that. Hit that notification bell. That way you'll be notified of all of our future uploads. Comment, because we would really like to hear everyone else's opinion on this. Also, as you all know, we do have a Patreon, but there's a lot of people who do not like to use Patreon. And we don't have a PayPal set up yet, because we've been asked by a few subscribers, they didn't say this verbatim, but it was like, I don't like Patreon. Do you have any other way that people could donate? And we came up with one. It's pretty much a tip jar. It is on our
Square store.
Yeah.
Since we have had so many issues with PayPal, I've been trying to find a way around it, and the Square store acts essentially the same thing because it goes through the same.
Except they don't take fees out, I don't think, do they?
They do, but not like everything else. And I don't think they really do on tips either. But it is the same concept as PayPal, only this operates in one space so that I can see everything at once. Like, it operates with our Square store, so I can literally manage it all in one spot. Versus PayPal, where if PayPal's connected, you have to go to PayPal separately to see things. So.
And of course, it's 100% optional. You do not have to do it. All proceeds will go to helping build the channel, getting better equipment, hopefully getting better internet so we can upload way more better. But I believe the selections was like $1, $5, $10.
There's a custom.
Yeah, there's a custom one where
in your own.
Yeah. So it's all that. Description. Link to that will be in the description. Like I say, guys, 100% optional. You do not have to do it.
But we've been asked, so
yeah.
We've been actively searching for a way that you guys could do that versus the only PayPal or Ko-Fi options.
Plus, like I said, in our, as of right now, blocked analysis of Chapter 11, we do not know why they blocked our analysis when there's no audio or video in it, but hopefully that'll be up soon. We are thinking about doing some merch, just basic t-shirts. They'll probably just say Geeky Saying Couple on the front. Maybe Jess will come up with a design for it. Who knows? We may be doing that, just to get more support in. That way we can continue to build the channel. So yeah, I believe that's all the housekeeping stuff that we gotta do. We went over the list and all that. So, since this will be up before the analysis, and since that's where we did the shout out, we're going to do it in this since the analysis is late. We got a new patron named Sunset, I believe. Thank you for your support. We very, very much appreciate it. And thanks to everyone else who has recently subbed to the channel, getting us to 400. That means a lot to us. All right. So, like I said, this is going to be an interview format. So, not much input from me because, this isn't my video. So, like I said, there are 10 in all. Jess is going to be 100% unbiased. She's going to give her upfront opinion. I told her just to be chillaxed throughout this whole entire thing. This is, I mean, come on, it's me, her fiance, doing the questioning. I guess you don't want me to look at you when you're answering because she can be the shy type, believe it or not. But all right, let's get to this. So, first question is more on you, and it's pretty much when and how did you realize you were bisexual?
Well, this started a long time ago. Back then I didn't know exactly what it was, just because I had never been around it, but I first learned that it pretty much okay, this is okay. I like this and it's okay, is Sailor Moon. And that was actually seeing that Sailor Moon, the things that she brought up and supported, that she didn't care whether, male, female, whatever, then seeing Neptune, which is why she's my other absolute favorite. Seeing that she was with Uranus, regardless if they said they were cousins back in that dub, I knew otherwise. You don't look at your cousin like that. So, that was really the first key to me noticing that this was okay. Regardless of what everyone else around me thought, I kind of just kept it to myself growing up. When I was younger, I didn't understand exactly what that meant. Like, I just knew, okay, this is okay then. Because, I kind of like other girls too. Like, it just, like I said, I was never around anybody else, so I didn't understand. Once I got older, I finally understood that I was actually categorized, like, I guess you could say, into something. Like, it actually had a word for what I was. I didn't know until it probably would have been high school that I learned that liking girls and guys meant you were bi. But everyone around me, I guess you can say two-faced. That, just to put it that as simply as possible. Like, I was a cheerleader. I was already looked down on. Why would I turn around and come out and say that I'm bi? And secondly, why would I say I liked anything with anime? Because behind everyone else, I saw what my so-called group of friends, at least most of them, said behind other people's backs. So I just kept it quiet. And when I really... I got to college before I could really actually say something about it. But yeah, Sailor Moon's that's what really made me see it when I was little. Learning it was okay.
Okay, so I was going to ask a little mid question, but I think that kind of goes into two. Question number 2. What was it that gave you the courage to come out?
One of my best friends.
I was gonna say, I think it's when you met your pretty much best friend. That when you
yes.
I remember that.
Yes. It was a strange time,
and we're not going to name names.
No, it was a strange time, and we were actually had weekend plans for cosplay stuff, and it was actually at a fitness studio as well, female empowerment program, like not program, but yeah. Was
that the when you bruised your leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta tell that story real quick.
Okay. Well, the same weekend we had went out, and I had gotten invited by my hula hoop fitness teacher. Yes, it is a real class, and yes, it really does work you out. She invited us to a dance studio for a female empowerment a display, like a showcase, and it involved pole fitness, like pole dancing, and so a couple of us went, and I brought my friend with me, and it's such a tiny space. It was so crowded. There's like decorative stuff, like this metal chair, for example, was sitting in the way, and I tried to get around somebody to get, I think, towards the bathroom or to get a drink or something, and I ran into it. Pretty hard. And I didn't realize how hard until like halfway through the night this like grapefruit sized bruise started forming on my thigh. The more days that went by, the worse it looked.
And I'll never forget, because this is when she still lived in Ohio. So I was here, I was doing something.
Yeah, this is when I was still in college. So
she messaged me and said she ran into a chair and now has this huge bruise on her leg. And I was thinking just like maybe that size of a bruise.
Oh, no.
Maybe she
like
sent me a
this.
picture.
The
picture you sent, like, it might have been a few days later. This thing almost covered her whole thigh, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It looked like someone hit me with a bowling ball. Like,
Oh,
and
it was awful.
We still managed to try out like some of the pole fitness stuff, which it's really hard.
This big ass bruise on. It looked painful.
That was a long weekend, and
this thing was super purple.
I could already not move when we went thrifting for cosplay stuff, and this bruise made it worse. We literally were rolling ourselves to get out of the cars when we went shopping. So yeah, this whole weekend,
little off topic there, but
this whole weekend evolved around like that, and then the first night, I think it was after that showcase. I knew I couldn't talk about with anybody else. I knew about her, and I just, at the time,
because she was too.
Yes, but at the time is one of my other really close best friends. We weren't talking, completely because of my ex. So I would have told her too, but she later asked me why I kept it from her, and then she understood why. The people in school made me keep quiet. But we were sitting in my car and just talking, and I said, all right, I have to let something out. I feel, so close to you already as, a friend and everything, that I just kind of spilled everything to her. And I said, I've been hiding this almost my entire life. And she was so happy that I trusted her enough, and you have to understand that we had only been in school together for a couple months. Like, the only way I can explain this is everyone, this is going to sound harsh, but most of the friends that you have in high school, you're not going to be friends with them later. We've mentioned this before, that I literally have 2 friends from high school that are still my best friends. But when you first meet somebody and you start, like, that, just the first few sentences that you start talking, there's that instant connection, like you've known each other for years. And I've met a couple people like that here, that as well, like, you just have that connection and it just feels like so much longer. Well, that was like the connection with her, and I felt like I could tell her anything, just like she could tell me anything, and she still can to this day. And it's just, she's part of our cosplay family, but she's the one that I first came out to. And then that night is when I called you.
And you were even scared to tell me.
Because, and then a lot of people don't realize that you build up even the closest people to you. You build up that so much fear when you have all these other people around you, will turn around and bully you. And everyone's like, well, it's easy. You could have told me I've been your best friend for years, or I've been this for years. You really don't understand the mindset that somebody else has, especially when you grow up, when you're bullied, when you're made fun of for everything else. You keep so much in, and you get scared to tell even your closest people. So, I mean, it's, for you to turn around and actually come out and tell somebody, it is a huge thing. That's why everyone makes a big deal about someone coming out. Like, it really does, it takes a lot out of somebody to do so. So, and you first thing, I knew it. That's exactly what you said to me. I knew it. Like, you said you saw signs, and you knew it. And I was like, well.
And I mean, at that time I was younger and stupid. I think I also said that's awesome or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean.
I mean.
But,
think you made a joke I could comment, and you'll comment too.
Yeah. And that's happened. And
me, him, and my best friend have sat there and then, I like that, and she'll just go, but I don't like that. Maybe with that.
I think when it
gets
really...
really funny.
Well, yeah, and like, I think when it really became like, wow, this is really happening, it was after you... I can't remember if it was up there or down here, but we were like, we were watching a movie or something, and a commercial came on, and that actress that you like was on one of the...
Which one? Because there's...
The one from the Fast and Furious movies. And she's also in the Resident Evil movies.
Her last name is Rodriguez.
Yeah. If anyone, I'm sure they know, but like a commercial for one of her movies came on, and I wasn't paying attention.
Michelle, I think.
I think it's like, Michelle Rodriguez or something like that. And like, I wasn't paying attention. I was on my phone or doing something. Jess just all of a sudden goes, "Gosh, she's so hot." I was like, what? I don't know. Like that was one of the first moments after she told me.
And the next moment that you all almost completely missed was that when I was dressed as Harley.
Oh yeah, I did miss that.
You and Mike both missed it. You're standing right there. No, we were in the middle of a photo shoot in a busy area, but it was the only area we had, and we were letting people by in between, poses, and the one girl, our photographer told her to go, and she goes, "No, I can wait. She's hot." Pointing to me, and just looked me up and down, and I went, well,
yeah, that was
I kind of had the classic Harley smirk at that point when she did that. I kind of just fell into character, but Lisa, they all caught it, and
I think me and him were standing right
over
there,
your head.
And we were talking. We didn't hear anything, but
and Mike, he originally turned around and goes, "What did I just miss?" He's a full-on Batman,
yeah.
But he goes, "Wait, what did I just miss?"
He couldn't see in that costume or anything. So,
but it was the greatest thing ever at that moment.
All right, we need to move on. We're only at two questions in. Okay, so number 3, do you see a lot of yourself in Blake?
Yes.
And it's funny when you very first started watching Ruby, you at first drifted toward Yang.
Yeah, I did. I gravitated toward Yang, and it kind of, though, if you think about it, kind of makes sense. Because Blake did too. I mean, hey, it kind of makes sense.
I don't think anyone's gonna down you for that.
But also, the other reason I gravitated towards Yang is because of how strong she was.
Yeah, because she was the first Ruby character you cosplayed.
Yes, Blake was definitely on my list, and I was torn between the two of them. Now, yes, I did get in slightly later into Ruby, but I knew of it. I had seen scenes of it, pictures, so I knew all about it before, and just pictures alone at the very beginning when I saw stuff. I was like, okay, well, I like these two together. But I had at that point in time...
She had no idea what Bumbleby was or anything
I had no idea even of the characters, but something drew me to her. And even though I cosplayed Yang first, I kept drawing back to Blake. And I quickly learned how similar to her I still am. Even the first episode, the books, that was the first thing. And I mean, I listened to an audiobook on the way home from work today. Okay, let's just put that in perspective here. This is how into books I am. I probably have more books than Blake has combined, but just the quiet, shy, I'm still those things.
You prefer tea over coffee?
Yes, I do not like coffee.
But loves tea.
I absolutely love tea. We go to Starbucks, I get tea. She's trying to think of other things to put it in words. how we saw her and stuff like that, but once we started getting into more of the stuff with like Adam, it really started to make sense, and that's when I started making some really scary connections between me and her and the things she's gone through, because I had lived that stuff, more in other ways, more to extreme, but it was it was almost an exact thing. So, and there's more detail into that in our actual What Bumbleby Means to Us video, which that link will be in the description too.
Yeah, because that video is like 9 months old.
Yeah, it is pretty old.
It's getting closer and closer, hitting 1,000 views though.
But I was able to closely relate to a lot of things, and even now, like how it went through stages in time to get to where, for her to come out. Well, that's where I went. Like, it took time to really accept things, to
a lot of late nights talking one-on-one.
Yes. It's so seeing, like I said, just as seeing her develop, it's just, that's why she means so much to me. And that's why she's up there with, like, Sailor Moon, with Neptune, and Lightning, even. So, it's, I don't know how else to put that in words. It's just, I see so much of myself in her. And I know some people are like, oh, well, it's a fictional character. These characters are made and meant for you to try to relate things to understand, to... That's
the whole point of storytelling.
Yes, and it's so scary, like I said, how close I am to her. That's why, I still don't know why I didn't cosplay her first, but I was still drawn to Yang because of how strong she was. Which, in relation, also goes with why I was so drawn to Lightning, too. Like, just such a strong character with such a heart. That's why I did her first. I'll still do Yang, too, but, I've got a 50-pound wig because of that hair.
Yeah. You done with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we're only on question 4. In your humble opinion, is Blake good by rep? Because a lot of people have criticized that it's not stated in the show, or that the fact that Barbara and Aaron confirmed it outside of the show, even though a lot of people say it was kind of obvious within the show itself, like, how do you think she is as far as...
I think she is good by representation, because, you don't walk up to someone and say, hello, my name's this, I'm bi. You don't do that. Like, it's like... Okay, I'm going to relate this also back to Sailor Moon. They didn't walk up to them and say, hey, I'm gay. This is how this is. No. Even when, even in Crystal or the original, in the manga, it says the same thing, and that's, Usagi will turn around and say, are you a boy or are you a girl? And the one thing I like in Crystal that Haruka says is, does it really matter? Does my sexuality really matter?
Mm-hmm.
And that's also what, to see when I was younger. No, she realizes, no, it does not. And even Mako says the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't matter, it's not like that. But you don't straight out say that, you don't have to say it. If they confirm it outside the show, that's fine. You don't have to have, huge red flags here. Okay, this is exactly what this is for this to be good representation.
What did you always think of, in certain scenes, and many people have pointed this out, that the bisexual flag seemed to follow Blake around in a lot of scenes.
Color is everything in RWBY. And seeing the colors, it made me think of Korra and Asami.
Yep.
It hugely did.
Yep. How they did the ending scene.
Yes, but that also made me think some things, this kind of leans a little more towards Bumblebee and not Blake, but in Chubi, that one episode that a rainbow and a tuna fish follows Yang around. I've been saying that something relates to that. I mean, it's little, but come on.
And yeah, and even
if it doesn't just pertain just to Yang, it's just the fact the rainbow's there. That, to me, that also just shows LGBT in RWBY.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, but a rainbow and a tuna fish. Like, there was no reason for the fish. I automatically think of Blake. So, that's another thing, is tuna.
Yeah.
She likes tuna, and so do I. So,
though, we're going back on a question here, but I completely forgot about this. Her being a cat faunus, there's been several jokes that, she loves seafood. Aaron even said that Blake's favorite snack is sushi. You're not a big seafood fan at all.
I mean,
she likes, get this, fish, shrimp, lobster, all that.
I've tried it all.
She does not like it, but she likes fish sticks. How does that make sense?
I know it doesn't make sense. Though I like I'll buy the little packets of tuna that's actually got like all the good stuff in it, and I'll take those. I'll take them for a snack to work because they're good for you. But
she once mixed tuna with macaroni and cheese and peas.
Hey, I was hungry and I liked it, and don't judge me.
Oh, it didn't smell good at all.
Don't judge me.
We did have you try sushi, and she says she doesn't like the fishy taste,
It's the fishy taste that gets me.
Even though there's no other fishier taste than fish sticks. But we went to...
I browned mine and stuff.
But we went to Cracker Barrel, and I had their fish fry, because their fish fry is really, really good. And you tried it,
and I actually liked it.
Yeah, because it doesn't have a strong fish taste.
As long as it doesn't have a strong fish taste, I could probably eat it. But I've also been told that there is types of sushi where it is, like, the meat inside is actually cooked. It's not raw.
Well, yeah, it's like, the kind, like the spicy crab roll I really like. It's cooked because you can't eat crab raw.
Yeah, but like, I make chicken stir fry all the time, and
it's good.
I've seen some people where they'll take the stir fry, just the chicken, like the way I'd make it, and they make it in the center of a sushi roll. I have yet to do it because I still can't master sticky rice very well.
Okay, we need to get off food. We'll be on food for a while.
But
and everybody will get hungry.
I could probably eat it that way.
Okay, so next question. Do you think, in your unbiased opinion, that Blake's bisexuality has been handled well in RWBY?
I mean, I think it does, because it's... You don't need it in your face. Like, the hints of color, obviously that she's been has had some type of attraction between, both sexes. So it doesn't have to be there in your face. Like, again, you don't have to announce yourself like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have it be subtle. I mean, I don't know what people are expecting. And because I've seen some other shows where stuff, it wasn't represented very well. But I've also seen things and read things where they make this and throw it in your face hugely, and you don't need to do that. It kind of takes away from the point of things if you do that. It's a whole story. This isn't just about that one person. Like,
do you sometimes feel like I've seen a few people mention this, so this is not my words, and I'm curious to know your opinion on it. Do you some people have said like they no longer, and this is from people who are in the LGBT community that I've seen say this, they no longer want it to really be spotlighted. They want it to be just seen as a relationship. Like, just it, like people say it doesn't have to be put on a higher pedestal where it should just be represented as two people falling in love.
Yes. I mean, I do agree. It doesn't have to be, it's still good representation, but it doesn't have to be, again, shoved in your face 24/7. It just doesn't have to be that way. But a lot of people, to make it valid, apparently has to be, which
and then they
another subject goes with romantic moments.
Yeah, and then they complain that it's in the show.
Yeah, well, that also fits with romantic moments. You don't have to do specific things like a kiss to be romantic. Like, to validate it. That's the word I'm thinking of. You don't have to do something to validate something like that. That goes the same thing with sexuality. You don't have to, again, announce yourself. It all goes back to that, which a lot of people think you have to do that within the show.
Okay. All right, so these next 3 questions kind of do go into shipping, but like I said, this is unbiased. This is Jess's opinion on how things have been handled and how she looks at them from a bisexual perspective. Okay, so number 6. In your opinion, is Blake's romantic attraction and feelings toward Yang obvious?
I've known this since, like, the beginning. Like, well, no, really. Like, when I first started watching and didn't know much about it, and again, even before that, when I started seeing pictures, video clips, or the random episodes, before I fully, like, dove in, I was just like, okay, these two are cute together. I could already see something here. Like, I think I straight out asked one of my friends, the one who actually pushed me to sit down and watch every bit of it at first. She goes, well, what stands out to you? I was like, is there something going on between these two? Because, like, I see it. And she goes, yes. She goes, you see it too? She goes, yes, there is. And so, I mean, it is obvious. So, that's why, I stay out of a lot of stuff on social media. But I don't know how you can't get more obvious. I mean, unless you start screaming it at the top of your lungs. I mean, there it is. I mean, it started little things here and there and grew. So, yes, it was, I think it was what represented, and it is pretty damn obvious.
Okay, next question. This is kind of a 2-parter, so I'll ask the first part first, and then we'll get to the second part. In your opinion, was there anything between Blake and Sun beyond a high school crush?
Maybe at first more on Sun's side, but not on Blake's. But that still fits in within the whole bracket of high school crush.
So you're saying what a lot of people have said also, that it was kind of obvious Sun had a bigger crush on Blake than Blake did.
And I think it was more so just because, well, one, she's a fauness. One, I mean, she's gorgeous. What's not to like about her? And it's just, but I mean, that's a typical, like, high school guy is to have, I mean, it's very stereotypical, but that's kind of how he's portrayed to be like that. And that also kind of fits with his extraness in that. You know, his extra side is the energy he has, which relates to a lot of the energy that Goku has. Which, yeah, that'll be another video.
Yeah, because him and Goku are based off the same person.
So it kind of goes hand in hand with that. But yeah, it's more one-sided, and it's really that all fits within the bracket of a high school crush.
Okay. Second part of the question. Was there anything there after Volume 3?
No. Not really, no. There may have been bits here and there, but I mean, it's even if he still had a bit of a crush, he started understanding. Looks alone that they focused on. Things like that. That says, okay, well, yeah, I have a crush on her, but obviously I can see where things lie. I mean, you can see a little bit here and there, but really, it started dwindling away.
And you're saying it was mostly on Sun's side.
Yes. Yeah, Blake blushed here and there, but that's typical, because yeah, she probably did think, okay, well, yeah, he is cute, but also part of her would have probably, just basing off body language and things, that how she acted, she's gonna turn around and parts of her will probably think, okay, well, yeah, he's cute, but what about the last cute guy that was around? She didn't say that, no, that's not said anywhere, but some of the emotion, or like that you see in her face and stuff like that, that's a typical thing you're gonna think. Like, I mean, being someone who's been abused, that's a typical thought. Okay, well, I've been around this, a guy, you know, a nice guy or something like that, and then it turned out to be this. So in your mind, you're going to think things like that. But really, it was more on Sun's side. But you could start seeing, especially after 3, he
didn't understand
He
her.
didn't understand. I mean, his crush was obviously kind of still there, but they wouldn't have focused on that moment at the end of 3 for no reason.
Oh, you're talking about when he looked and
yes.
it centered on Blake clutching Yang's hand.
Yes, that was a first moment for him to think, maybe this is more one-sided. But the thing is it all leads up to it wasn't about that.
Yeah, I was going to get to that because, like, I believe Xiaolong brought up in her, video that she did that if Sun was meant to be Blake's romantic interest, like for the long haul, it would have been him who confronted Adam at Beacon and not Yang.
Yes, that's what would have happened.
Yeah, I was going to get to the cheek kiss at the beginning of 6 because people are going to bring that up.
Yeah, and the thing is that's... You can go around that a little bit more. Kissing somebody on the cheek is actually a lot in a different context than anything else. Hell, the forehead touching thing is actually way more intimate than kissing on the cheek. Okay, I have friends that I haven't seen forever that when they see me, they will kiss me on the cheek because it's something... It's not...
It's a welcoming thing.
Yes.
It's a thank you.
Some countries actually do that, though. So it's not a romantic thing. I mean, yeah, you can do it romantically to somebody, but it's a caring...
It's usually on how you're saying it's usually on how it's delivered.
It's how it's delivered.
And I remember when Volume 6 first happened.
Because sometimes it can be affectionate, but... You can show affection to friends. It's that same concept. Like, it's that you care.
Yeah. Well, I remember when Volume 6 first aired and we saw Volume 6, Chapter 1, you went ahead and stated that the way it was delivered, the way it was shot, it
wasn't close in, and then what he said after that.
Yeah.
So...
Okay.
Which Neptune obviously didn't understand either. He knew. Obviously, it was clear that Neptune knew of the crush that he had on her, but I can't believe you're letting her go. It wasn't about that. Like, Sun is smart enough to come to realize that, really, yeah, it's a crush, and it wasn't about doing that. It was about helping her, about, obviously going after her, stalking after her to follow her and help her, thinking the completely wrong direction that she went for. So, but I mean, he still was smart enough to realize. So, I mean...
Alright, so question 8. When people say things like, oh, wait till Sun comes back, he'll get between Bumblebee, and people saying stuff how... in a way that Blake owes Sun a relationship and all that. How does that make you feel? As part of the... knowing that there are people out there who legit think that Kruby is going to build up a same-sex relationship only to break it up and go with a heterosexual relationship.
I think everyone in Kruby would even quit if they went that direction. The thing is because there wouldn't be anybody left in the fandom if they did something that drastic. So I think, it kind of pisses me off, honestly. And this has nothing to do with Bumblebee as a ship alone. This is in general, just a same-sex relationship. Why would you do that? Why would you build it up and then take it away? That would be terrible writing. That would be a very, very terrible, turn, as far as representation for the community. So, and especially since, all of Kruby supports everything LGBT, there'd be no reason for it. That's what I'm saying. If somebody outside of them decided, oh, we're going to change this and change that relationship, I think they'd all quit. or they wouldn't support any of it anymore, because why would they wouldn't want to put out something to their fans that's going to make them lose their fans that are so dedicated, and so with things like this that's so well loved, that has such representation of anything LGBT.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes me mad when people say stuff like that, and it's when I keep scrolling, bite my tongue, walk away. I just, unless it's spoken directly to me and I feel, I guess, fiery enough to fire back, and that's usually in person, but no one has the balls to come up to me in person and say something like that.
All right, number 9. How do you feel when people say things like, "Oh, if Blake was bi, why didn't she date Ilya?"
That's like me saying, okay, well, how are you bi? You've never dated a girl. So that should tell you right there how I feel on that. Like, you don't have to validate because, oh, you have to be in a relationship with a woman to be bi. Or both. You've had to had both to be bi.
Yeah, like it kind of paints the thing that if you're bi, you'll date just anyone, when that's not the case, is it?
No, it's not.
Because you still have
standards.
taste. Yeah.
Standards, and you have tastes. Obviously, from little things I've posted on Twitter, I'm sure you guys have figured out what kinds of women I like outside of things. So, I mean, most of them are all, tall, tan, and gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's like, again, trying to say you have to do this to validate something. It doesn't work that way. Anyone who tells you that you're not bi because you haven't, tell them, don't the door hit them in the ass on the way out, because I'm sorry, you're valid no matter what.
All right, final question. This is kind of a real broad question, but if you could say anything to Kruby, including Aaron, about Blake, what would you say?
Well, for one, just thank you for bringing something like this to life. I mean, I feel like I could cry coming up with stuff like this, because it really does mean a lot. Seeing somebody that I can relate to with everything that I went through.
I didn't think you'd cry.
It really does mean a lot. Like, when you feel, like, when I was in those dark places and then not thinking I'd come out of them, and still even coming out from all of that, being in the healthy relationship I'm in now.
Even though I drive you crazy.
Those things in your mind don't go away. But seeing somebody else, whether they're, in a show or somebody else in person, seeing them and that you can relate yourself so much to them, and seeing them come out of all that and grow, it means so much. So, just thank you is the only thing that I can think of.
Aw, hon. I love you. All right, well, that got very emotional really fast. I didn't think when I came up with that question.
It would. But it just, again, it means so much. I mean, for me, for others I've talked to, and I've made so many friends because of this community. Like, both the LGBT community, but both in Ruby. Like, it just means so much. And knowing things that even Aaron has gone through, I can relate so much to that as well. So, it's definitely, it's positive, because you can build each other up.
All right, I think
that's enough.
Yeah,
thank you.
You can finally have your break. In closing, I mean, there's nothing I could say, because I'm not part of that community.
Indirectly, anyway.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find a good way to say this. this fandom has a lot of negativity around it. I won't lie.
In my opinion, though, regardless of how much negativity we see, it is outweighed by the positivity and love this community has.
Yeah, and
it's just sometimes it's hard to see that because you'll see the constant repost of the negativity, but the love that's through the true community means, we need to build that up more.
Yeah. We need more, I think videos like this that are more empowering, more positive. Still opinions, but enlightened opinion maybe because it comes from someone that actually, lives through this. And it's rough because there's so much positive messages through RWBY that people just ignore because it doesn't fit what they want, and so they get on social media and they attack other fans for just enjoying it, or they attack
keyboard warriors.
Yeah, they attack RWBY, and that's one reason why I don't like social media, is because it just, people say whatever
you love and hate it.
Yeah.
Like it's there's no there's no fine line of anything, it seems, anymore. It's you love it and you hate it. Like you're split between it because it's a great way to get to interact, but it's also where people can tear you down.
So really, love the people you love, and don't take any of it for granted, because, things can go sour in an hour, If you take anything away from this video, at least take that this show means a lot to real people, to real people's feelings, to how they feel about themselves. That's what makes RWBY one of the best shows that I've ever watched. It's why I'll continue to watch it, and why I just think this fandom needs sometimes to not focus on the bad and focus more on the good, and promote more positive people in this fandom than promoting the bad ones. It seems like one bad apple can have one bad take, and then all of Twitter's talking about it, when they're not talking about, what good video this creator put out or this artist put out. It's like we always focus on the bad, and I really wish we would quit doing that.
That's why, you see there's a lot of stuff, even the stuff that I make. That's why I make so much RWBY stuff. Not because it's popular, because it means a lot. Just, that's why also I will continue to watch it, just because of what it means. It's also why, Sailor Moon still means so much. That's why he goes with me to see it when it comes into theaters. The first time I was actually able to see the movies, he went with me. I mean, we're gonna go see when Crystal comes to US, whenever
Hopefully.
that is. Whenever that is. And he'll still go with me. I mean, he's knowledgeable in it. He knows more. He's seen all of Crystal more than of the original. Because it's a little bit different, but it's still the same thing. It means a lot. This is why RWBY means a lot. It's, you showcase everything that you love. And there's negative stuff in that community too, believe it or not. It's a lot. But I wish between that, RWBY, anything, we need to focus more on the positive side of it.
Yep. Well, guys, this got really, really emotional, but that's always good. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, click that like button, leave us a comment. All the other good stuff is in the description. As always, guys, this is Kanan.
This is Jessie.
We love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Call anyone you know. Tell them you love them. Stay warm, because it's getting cold again.
Yeah.
Play some games. and we will see you in the next one. Bye.